Sykes-Picot Agreement, as George explained it. I'm asking them, people wants to destroy Sykes-Picot. And now this slogan is picking up, and inshallah we will reach it. Inshallah, we will unite. Some nationalists, when they try to challenge my slogan, I tell them the same thing. Why you don't like to be like the United States? The United States, 50 or 51 states, they are very strong because of that. But if New Mexico was a special, private, independent country, you can imagine what Albuquerque will be when it is a capital of New Mexico. So I am trying to do that. It is one of my favorite topics, to work on unity among Muslims, among Arabs, among Middle Eastern countries. And I am sure, as it was a dream to see Mubarak in jail or in the court, the dream will be achieved, inshallah, and realized as far as we know. Sunnis in Iran, they are not worse than Shia in Saudi Arabia or in Bahrain. But I am against any distinction between people, not even Muslims and Muslims, but any human being. Because we learn it from Ali ibn Abi Talib, radiallahu anhu arda, the fourth Orthodox Caliph. He is saying, الناس إما أخ لك في الدين أو نظير لك في الخلق. People are either of two. Either your brother in religion or a peer, your peer in humanity. You're equal in humanity. And this is what we believe. But regarding the mosque in Iran, I raised this matter with my friends in Iran at the highest level. And they sent me a document of all Sunni mosques, more than 1,000 mosques in and around Tehran. And I myself don't see any difference between people to pray in one mosque. Why should we continue disunited and we have our imams who spread hatred among both sections? Thank you.
Kate has asked to pass on this session of this panel of questions. Now, obviously, I mean, the Syrian question is going to, I sense, is going to come up again, which is fine. But we do want to also discuss other things in the whole Arab revolutionary process, including what we've been talking about in Egypt. You know, what prospects there are for it to spread to countries like Saudi Arabia and Jordan. And so on. So I'd be grateful if, before we come back to the Syrian question, other questions can be raised and discussed as well. So there was somebody that, basically, there were questions about the relationship between Tahrir and the parliament and the elections and the Egyptian working class. And I wondered whether you could talk a little bit about that.
Don't forget who is a Jew.
And the question of who and who isn't Jewish, whether it's right to define that on the basis of someone's political opinion.
Thank you very much. Why am I in Tahrir Square? Although the Muslim brothers are happy with the parliament and they don't go to Tahrir Square, I see that the two should go together. Being in Tahrir to explain and raise the demands in the face of the military or the military council and even the parliament and the government. And when the president comes as well, we will be in Tahrir until all demands are satisfied. Secondly, I am with the democratic process, 100%. It should go together. But don't forget that Tahrir Square brought the democratic process. We should not forget the original step at all. Secondly, who is a Jew? I have 100% right to define I am a scholar of comparative religion as well. And I understand, and I have many friends who are Jews, as I said to you, Hacham, and I don't believe that the Nobel laureate Berez is a Jew at all. He's a Jew. Who is a Jew? It's the one who followed Moses, peace be upon him. Who is a Christian? Is the one who followed Jesus Christ, peace upon him. Who is a Muslim? Is the one who followed Muhammad, the Prophet, peace be upon him. So it is not difficult to define who is a Jew and can measure who is a Jew, who is not. If you kill, you are not a Jew. Because Moses did not ask you to kill people. If you oust them from their lands and houses and destroy them and destroy Beit al-Maqdis, you are not a Jew. Regarding Sami Najib and others like Ali Abdel Fattah, and they are our friends, but they belong to a group called anarchists. They are the revolutionary socialists. They have the right to do whatever they like, but they do not have the right to destroy the country. We are against any destruction to the country in any way. You can't try to work against dictatorship, but don't destroy your country. Betraying the revolution. This is a very harsh word because everyone we have here, for example, the Labour and the Conservatives, and we have the Democrats, and we have the Republicans in America, and we have others here and there. They have different ideas and opinions how to develop their country and how to work in the economy. The Labour are working in a way which the Conservatives are not happy with at all, and they're changing all that. I can't say these are betraying those, but I would say this is their own ijtihad, this is their own trial. This is how they understood democracy to be and to be served. I don't like to use harsh words at all. A romantic, yes I am. I studied poetry. I read a lot of romances. I have my own dreams. Why not to be a romantic? But in being a romantic, I am a realistic. And I learned how to be a realistic. I would tell you that I lived 6 years in Afghanistan. I was the first one through IPS, Institute of Policy Studies, to say that no Islamic State will come in Afghanistan after jihad. And I was considered as a non-Muslim, as an anti-Islam. I was a kafir. I was anything because I was realistic. The last special deal with the SCAF, the powers that have impact on the future of Egypt can be summarized in the following. SCAF and the army and the Islamists who are now in the parliament and the liberals and secularists who are working for a change of the results of the elections, and the revolutionaries. And I tend more to be with the revolutionaries until everything is satisfied. Then we can stop that revolution. Thank you very much.
Bravo.
Thank you very much, Kamal. I gave Kamal a little bit of extra time because he's come straight from Egypt last night, but the other panelists are going to be much more disciplined.
I'd just like to start off again by thanking the Respect Foundation for hosting and facilitating this discussion. I think it's been exceptionally important, and I think I would also like to thank the audience for the contributions and the very courteous and constructive way in which differing views have been expressed. In my opinion, most, if not well, many, if not most, of the problems faced by the Middle East today have been the result of Western intervention. We've talked at length earlier about what those particular kinds of impacts have been, but colonialism, killing and destruction, the exploitation of resources, the suppression of the population, many of those directly result from what the British and others have done in that region. And if you look back on British intervention in the region in particular, it's been a catalogue of disaster and shame. And I think many of us here from the British side experience great shame and a great sense of responsibility about what our ruling class has done. I think we're also all united in believing that the peoples of the Middle East must choose their own governments, choose their own political and economic systems, and the way in which they want to run their societies. And in my view, it's absolutely clear that repression of people, repression and exploitation of people cannot last. I think everything in history shows us that attempts to control and rule through the barrel of the gun do not last. And people will, of their own volition, rise up and choose the types of governments and types of systems that they want to live under. And I think, as one of the friends earlier said, that situation is also now the case in Greece, where economic exploitation and economic imperialism applied to Greece and other parts of Europe now, they will meet their opposition too. And I think that, in my view, the greatest contribution that I can make and others in the peace and anti-war movement is to keep the United Kingdom, to keep British forces, British political intervention out of the Middle East. I oppose all Western intervention.
Much to the Respect Foundation and the SOAS Respect Society for organising this meeting, to Mary and Sophie in particular, and thanks to all of you for coming.
Good.